Hello everybody, and welcome to the Wench Bench, where friends sit and talk about fabulous fictional females and how their stories have influenced us throughout our lives. My name is Alison.
And my name is Fonda.
Today, Fonda is going to be talking about Sera from the video game
Dragon Age Inquisition.
So,
yeah. Kind of like general information on the Dragon Age series, because I know Alison hasn't played it.
Nope.
For those that also haven't, I've only played one game. So I'm only going to talk about the one I played. Not like a deep dive, because that's not the point of it, but hopefully enough that when I'm talking about the character, the world makes sense.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah. So the Dragon Age games are a fantasy action role-playing video game series developed by BioWare. The first game for the series came out November 2009. 11 years ago.
Yeah.
With the next game coming out in March 2011. And the third most recent game for the series came out November 2015, which is the Dragon Age Inquisition game. So the Dragon Age franchise takes place in a world called Thedas, a world that has been described as a dark fantasy setting with events from the main series games taking place primarily in like southern Thedas.
Okay.
The Dragon Age series utilizes many common fantasy tropes and also takes inspiration from A Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh.
Most people know that as a fantasy novel series by George R.R. Martin, or Game of Thrones. Particularly in its morally ambiguous world, where characters are often embroiled in a no-win scenario and treacherous political machinations.
Ooh, I like it.
Again, disclaimer, I have never played the first two franchises or the spin-off titles and the adaptations that they have, so I can't say what the series is like as a whole, but I really like Inquisition.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you why in a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the character I am specifically talking about comes from the third installment of the main series, Dragon Age Inquisition, or some people just call it Inquisition. It's the only game I played, and I have checked my timestamp, like as of this morning, across all 3 of the save files I have, of which 2 I have completely finished.
Ooh.
And I have 752 hours of that game.
Dang.
So
Dang, girl.
I have deep dived. I haven't just like
Nice.
touched the surface. Like I've been in it.
Yes.
So
And I am a self-proclaimed video game hoarder, so I actually do have all 3 Dragon Age games downstairs, currently collecting dust, while my husband and I replay Borderlands for like the 3rd time.
oh, Dragon Age Inquisition's really good. I know some people don't like it as much as I think Origins, which is the first one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But Dragon Age Inquisition is set in the continent of Thedas as the other ones, but the game itself covers a more geographic territory compared to its predecessor games, with one map being described as 4 to 5 times the size of Ferelden, which is like the main place a lot of things take part in.
Okay.
The setting of the first game in the series was all in Ferelden, but the setting overhaul with like expanding all of Southern Thedas basically allows the players to go back and forth between Ferelden and the other part of Thedas called Orlais.
Okay.
Very like French and like gives you some of those like European vibes. I like it. Mm-hmm. Very good. It has a gay queen. To be clear, subtly gay, but still you find out she's got a female elf lover, and you're just like, oh.
I like it. I dig it.
It's good. Following the events of Dragon Age 2, and I guess there's a novel for Dragon Age called Asunder, the Circle of the Magi, all of the mages in Dragon Age Inquisition have gone rogue And the Templar Order, which is kind of like, think of, if you're thinking typical fantasy D&D, like a bunch of people that are anti-magic, and they're working with the church and a bunch of other stuff to stop rogue mages and people that are overusing magical powers. Paladin-esque, kind of.
Okay.
But the Templar Order succeeded the Chantry to wage their own war on the world's mages because the church head of the Chantry dies at the very beginning of Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh.
And it kind of throws the whole world into chaos because people don't know why she died. A bunch of other important people died, and the Templars are like, fuck it, we're going to go do our own thing. And the Magis are like, no, we don't want to be... like, some of them get imprisoned, some of them get murdered, some of them get, like... I can't remember the actual term, but basically, like, you can remove a mage's power away.
Oh.
And it kind of makes them... They don't fully look like they're there mentally. Sometimes you come across them, and they're very, like, zombie-like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So almost like lobotomized.
Kind of, yeah.
Magic
lobotomy.
Magic lobotomy.
I don't like that term, but yeah, that's the closest thing I can think of. So just, again, to help with the world, simultaneously, the tie-in novel for the Inquisition game is called Dragon Age: The Masked Empire. It explores the origins of a civil war which broke out in Orlais between the loyalists of the ruling Empress Celine, the one who has a lovely gay elf that she smooches on, and it's nice, and a powerful noble faction led by her cousin, Grand Duke Gaspard de Chalon. Doing my best with the French there. I might be Canadian, but that doesn't mean my bilingual is good. The area that's traversable, so what you can explore in Inquisition, is much larger than the first two games, and is said to cover 2 countries and the land between them. And again, the countries are Ferelden and Orlais, with a land known as the Dales located within. So the Dales has a lot of, like, elven history in the games.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have not magic people trying to police magic people.
Yeah.
And then we have a civil war
between
a current reigning ruler who's a fabulous lesbian.
I think she might have a husband too, but, like...
A fabulous queer person.
Yeah.
A fabulous queer woman who's in bed.
Yeah, just both run-throughs I have. I found out she was smooching on her elven female friend, but my husband played through one, and you find out that there's a man she might have killed in her chamber, and he's, like, tied up. So part of me is like, okay, maybe there's more to her than what I thought by playing.
So she has hidden depths.
Yeah.
Very fascinating. Super cool. So she is in a civil war with, like, her cousin who's trying to steal her power.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Got it.
And all the while, the whole thing happens because there's something called the Fade, which holds the, like, spirits, the demons. Like, that's actually where a lot of raw magical power kind of comes from, is through the Fade.
Okay.
And the bad guy of the game, he basically causes this huge rift to happen where there's tons of rifts in the sky around the whole world, and it's causing demons and a bunch of crazy shit to happen.
Ooh.
So, like, not only are you dealing with political intrigue, not only are you trying to side between who do you want to help more, the Templars or the mages, but you also have to be the Inquisitor. You're the person that's, like, leading these new group of people because the Chantry's fucked. And you have to stop demons from the sky, and it's
a lot.
It's wild.
Yeah.
You would really like it.
I probably would.
And
I have to play them, apparently.
You do. I've only played the first one, and I didn't really get lost too much. I think it does a good job at, like, giving you extra context with, like, items you find. And again, like, I asked my husband, I'm like, am I missing a lot going into it? He's like, I don't think so.
Okay.
So I never played the first 2. I could, I just didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I also have them across, like, 2 different game systems.
I know, I recently downloaded it again on my computer just so I could download mods because I wanted to make my Qunari, which is another race in the game, have, like, a different hairstyle that you can't get in the PlayStation ones because you can't really get mods as easy.
Yeah, because I have the first 2 on PlayStation, and then I have the third one on Xbox. Because I couldn't get the third one on PlayStation from the, like, bin at our local video game store, because that's where I get all of my video games, is from that, like, lightly used box of other people's games.
Oh, well, okay, going forward, I'm not going to talk much about the franchise itself or much about the game's setting and the world events because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
I also think I hopefully gave enough context, but I think as I talk about the fabulous fictional female, hopefully that information adds some cool depth to them and maybe for our listeners interests you to picking up a game from the series. Mm-hmm. I personally, as you just heard me tell Alison, recommend Inquisition because that's the one I've played the most, but, you know, a lot of people say the first game is the best, so.
Yeah. And well, like I've said in many of our episodes by now, probably, I don't really necessarily believe in spoilers.
Everyone knows Luke Skywalker and his history of his dad. You don't have to watch it's just there. And
well, it's the story and it's the path that you take, right? Like there's not really, like, the facts are just what they are, like they're facts, but it's the way that you get to them.
Exactly.
So, it's not how it happens, or it's not what happens, it's how it happens.
Yeah. Speaking of how, I want to explain how it is that Sera has become my fabulous fictional female.
Yes, please do. Please do.
So, Sera is an elf and a deadly elven archer, with her classification for the game's action elements being a rogue.
Okay.
She's one of a handful of rogues that you can choose from for your party's various missions and what you choose to do. She is a member of a secret society called the Friends of Red Jenny, an enigmatic group of subversive vigilantes trying to undermine abusive nobles by engaging in espionage and social banditry.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah.
Sera herself is impulsive and revels in the moment. For her, it's not about what's right, it's about what's right now. She fights for those caught in the middle, but she also needs order restored. The world has to be normal so she can play, as she talks about it. Because the world's not normal when you meet Sera. Everything's fucked. She just wants the world to be normal so she can have fun.
Yes. That's fair. That's a noble cause.
Yeah, I totally get it.
I feel it.
Sera herself holds, like, anti-establishment political and social views, and she likes to help those who she considers to be deserving of help. On the other hand, she has little hesitation humbling or hurting people who she does not consider to be less fortunate. This means she is very suspicious of the upper classes throughout the game or anyone who possesses power or prestige. She believes it is fine to steal from the rich, and if someone takes anything from the less fortunate, it upsets her.
Very Robin Hood-esque.
Yes!
I dig it.
Yes. Sera supports personal freedoms in the game, though she has an intense fear of anything magical or supernatural in nature. Like, in the games, some events happen. Like, there's one where they end up diving into the Fade, and she's like, no, it didn't happen. Like, that was a dream. Like, she completely shuts it away because she's so terrified of it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. She is noted to have turned away from elven customs and rejects any positive discussion about elven culture or identity. She also does not like it when anyone speaks for a group, in particular if they assume she is a member by virtue or something they have in common. So again, she looks elven, and it upsets her when people assume she's a part of the elven culture.
Yeah.
Or just because she's an archer or a rogue, some people assume. And same with, like, other people. She hates it when people assume other people just because of maybe what they're presented to be like, or again, like, something they might have in common. Because she says she's very harsh with her wording sometimes, but it comes across in a way that's kind of important because, you know, like, I don't know, I'd be pissed off if anyone assumed I was something in particular without, like, asking me.
Yeah.
Or trying to know me. Like, you're just like, oh, like, this has to be the category you fit in because of X, Y, Z. And it's like
stereotyping and
and giving unwanted labels onto people that don't want them. Yeah. So in the game, players are able to romance Sera. She's a character that you can romance. As Inquisition has a dating sim aspect to it, which is probably why it's my favorite.
I love dating sims.
I know. I love it when I can date people in games.
It's so fun.
It really is. That being said, not anyone can romance Sera. She is the first female companion in the series itself. So far, anyways. I'm not sure about future games. But she's the only one that can be romanced by the main protagonist if they use a female character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I romanced her first. I picked a female Kunari, and I love her personality so much. I was like, Sera, all day. Love you. Yep.
Love
Here
it.
for you. Respect you. If you're afraid of magic, that's fine.
I will protect you, my sweet baby.
I'll protect you from the fear.
What is a Kunari? Like, is it translatable to anything kind of...
I would say... I don't know if some people might agree with me to describe it, but in terms of, like, physical depiction, think of orc size, like, large, but combined with, like, they all have intricate horn designs. They all have, like, dark gray skin tones.
Okay.
They live on a different continent, so I have no idea what it's like there, but magic is kind of like a no...
Okay.
A faux pas, like a nuh-uh, not good. They have now I can't remember, so please don't quote me on this. I don't know if it's a religion or just a way of life, but they follow something called the Kun. Okay. And they're the Kunari, so everyone's kind of like within it.
Cool.
And I picked her, and then I didn't know it, but I was like, I want to be a mage. Apparently that means I'm like...
Shunned.
Shame
on you.
And I was like, interesting. Okay.
Whoops.
Yeah. So I played a female Kunari and I went to woo Sera.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Love it.
In the game, actually, the depiction of Sera's sexuality has been commended by some sources for its avoidance of tokenism.
Oh.
So some MCV developed staff members consider her character to be properly fleshed out and without the usual stereotypes of a poorly written or implemented LGBTQ plus character that exists simply to tick a box. Kath Rella, at the time, was a guest writer for The Queerness, and she wrote for its gaming month in March 2017 and commented that Sera is not just another stereotypical angry lesbian, but a multi-layered character who requires patience to understand, and she believed that Sera is one of the best written characters in BioWare games in some respect, and one of the few characters arc that progresses in a realistic fashion across a single installment of the game.
Yeah.
Rella liked Sera because although her sexuality is established, and I'm going to read a quote here, it is not the only thing that makes her notable, as the length of this post demonstrates. Sexuality is a relatively minor part of her personality, but it's still there.
Yeah.
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 And again, she said best written character in BioWare games. That was in 2017. I don't know if she's changed her opinion on it, but it was,
yeah, that's really cool though. And we've talked a lot about like representation and stuff too, and just the importance of having somebody's queerness or otherness or whatever be their sole defining trait. It's like it can be a part of who they are. It doesn't necessarily have to be their whole thing, and I dig that. That's awesome that she has more of her story.
Yes.
Which I'm excited to hear more about. So
yeah. I actually want to talk about her reception in the games because it was mixed. I'd personally say, from what I dived into for research, seen in comments, hearing from other people I know that have played the game, that it's like a 50-50 for those who liked her and those who didn't.
Okay.
However, a handful of critics who stated that they didn't like her, such as Jita Jackson, made a point that though she doesn't like Sera, her character is not poorly written.
Okay, so just opinion, not necessarily.
It's kind of like when you meet someone, other people could like them, and you just might not jive with them. Like, that's fucking fine.
Yeah, just don't feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people, both fans and critics of the game, often use the words annoying or that she is too self-absorbed when discussing why they don't like her. To bring Jita Jackson back, she compared Sera to the fictional character Robin Hood. But in her comparison, like, Robin Hood was always trying to do something to end up helping people, and he'd be done with it. Sera's part of the Friends of Red Jenny, but it seems like that's something she's always going to do, even when things are normal.
Yeah.
Like, she's always going to help the little person, which is great.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't really get too much of what she wants after she's done doing that.
Yeah.
So she's like that. There's a difference between the two. There's similarities, but she's like, Robin Hood had a clear goal in mind, and once the goal was done, he moved on from it, while some people don't know. And maybe that'll come in the later games.
Yeah.
But conversely, Fraser Brown from the PC Games N called Sera the best character in Inquisition, and mentions the Iron Bull, who's a Qunari male character, being the closest contender. A lot of people like the Iron Bull. So he has horns that look like a bull. He has an eye patch on one of his eyes. And he's funny, and he loves dragons. Like, you meet a dragon in one of them, he's like, oh my gosh. And he's like, we have to kill it, but not in a way that's, like, weird. Like, for his character particularly, and their culture, dragons are so, like, they're a representation of power and conquest, and if you are to kill one, not only does it show your resilience to go against a enemy or something that's bigger and more powerful than you, but also you have to show respect to it after you've killed it.
Yeah.
Again, there's not much on the Qun for a whole bunch of stuff, so I don't necessarily know if some people don't like that part of their culture. I don't know, but we're not talking about the Iron Bull. We're talking about fucking Sera.
Yeah.
Among the aspects that Brown has praised include her antics, her incidental party banter, and the Sera Was Never song. She has a tavern song, and I'll go into some of the lyrics later, because it's actually a nice song. In his article, he noted that Sera is paradoxically loopy, yet grounded as a character, and that she, and I quote, elicits strong feelings. And a lot of people seem to hate her for those strong feelings. Yeah.
And that's allowed.
I know. Like, again, like, you don't have to, like, bringing back to people thinking she's annoying or self-absorbed. I think it's just because she's kind of, like, abrasive and in your face about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And in some ways, people view her as childish because she does a lot of, like, pranks on people. But when you do the pranks with Sera in one of the games, like, that's a thing you can do with her. You can prank a couple people. She's doing it to make some of the people relax.
Okay.
The pranks she does aren't really bad pranks. She's not doing it to harm anybody, but she's doing it to, like, when things aren't normal, she tries to prank people that she cares about in hopes that, like, they don't have to stress in that moment.
Yeah, like,
and they can just, whatever emotions they feel right there from the prank, whether it's being upset or you see it and you're laughing, like, she just wants to make people relax and have a good time. Which, again, not everyone has to prank people to do it, but that's just how she does it.
Yeah, that's just her vibe.
Yeah. Another critic, Lucy O'Brien from IGN, felt Sera was very alive and three-dimensional in the game. Though she clashed with her Inquisitor character on numerous matters of principle, because you have options that you choose as your Inquisitor, what you want your Inquisitor to be like.
Okay.
And you can have approval or disapproval from your party members, and it can be easy to have Sera disapprove of what you choose to do.
Yeah.
So there can be clashes in that way. So that's what Lucy O'Brien is talking about in that sentence. But she disclosed that the aftermath of her character's relationship breakdown with Sera left her feeling needy and gross and alone, but praised BioWare's integrity for not tying up Inquisition's romance in neat little boxes, and for showing a willingness to ditch the usual power fantasies in the pursuit of authenticity.
Cool.
Because though you can date Sera, if you do certain things that you don't agree with or she doesn't agree with, by the end of it, she, as a character, could leave your character if you're in a romantic pursuit.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen to me because I was very much so like, I want to please Sera. But in one of my other run-throughs, my character that I'm playing doesn't have the same moral views as the first character I tried to make.
Yeah.
And Sera ended up leaving.
Okay.
Which is fine.
Yeah, that's super interesting, too. That just kind of the idea of being able to build relationships in a way with, like, the side characters. That's a really fun little mechanic.
Yeah. To bring back I guess, on the other side of the 50-50 people liking her and hating her, someone named Hilton alleged that the depiction of the lesbian relationship between the Inquisitor and Sera is fetishized and apparently reinforces some troubling stereotypes. I don't know because I'm not a lesbian.
Yeah, you're not a part of that community necessarily.
No, I don't know what a troubling stereotype for a lesbian could necessarily be. Like, I know what bad stereotypes are.
Yeah.
And I know that some people can fetishize certain relationships. I didn't see it, but I don't know if that's just because there's not a lot of media that represents lesbian relationships that I've partaked, because I don't always choose to partake in something that I don't think has good representation. Yeah, I don't know. I disagree with this particular critique. Most lesbians I've come across seem to like her and never brought up troubling stereotypes. I wish this person had dived more into it in their critique. It was just like a short one.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't an entire like article or anything like that. So I can't say what they were trying to get across or what was troublesome or not.
Yeah, and it might have had a lot to do with something in their own kind of experiences too, right? Like, never necessarily know where somebody's coming from, but
So, again, like, I disagree, but I also don't have the full depth of information to say if the person's wrong with assuming the lesbian relationship that the game presents is uncomfortable. And,
well, opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
It's everybody's opinion. It's how you see something. It's all in your own interpretation, really, of a character. And you could ask two people who are like all statistically like the same thing. So you could ask two white lesbian women that are 25 years old whether they like this character, and they could have completely different views on it because like our outsides don't have
our feelings
or the
experiences we've gone through.
Exactly. So I get it, and who knows where they came from on that.
And when you ever come around to playing it, Alison, I'd like to know if you agree or disagree with that statement, because you've seen a lot of other media shows, you've read some different things I haven't, so you might have a different opinion compared to me.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Yeah. Also, this game was made in 2015. I think if they were to make another game, which apparently they are, and I would like to play it if it has a romance simulator in it. But like, I would like to see what other characters they choose to focus on and flesh out to be represented.
Yeah, definitely.
Sera was actually one of the nominees for the Best New Character of Hardcore Gamers for 2014 Game Awards.
Cool.
Not only was Sera nominated, but also Dorian, the gay wizard you can date in the game. Oh, he also only dates the men. So, you have...
Yeah.
But he's like, I never played a male character for the game yet. I probably will, because I want to try to do all playthroughs. But, like, in every game I've done, he's just so great that I always do his personal character quests because I just want to be his friend. Because he's so, like, multi-layered, he's interesting, he's really sweet, and, like, he's just, you'd like him.
Yeah.
He has a curly Q mustache.
Oh, I love that. I love a good, like, styled facial hair on, like, any character.
He's got it. He's fun. Finally, for sort of, like, how she was received, the last note I want to bring up is, again, with Cathrella. She wrote, in what is my personal opinion, a fantastic article about Sera. It's called In Defense of Dragon Age's Sera, which was published in 2017, and does a good dive into her character and how she is actually quite important for the game, whether you like her or not. Mm-hmm. I really recommend, like, no matter your feelings about her, whether you know her or like her or dislike her, like, to give it a read if you're thinking of playing it, because I think it was, like, really insightful, and the opinion was valid from my perspective. She brought up points that were both equally constructive and also kind of, like, made you think, like, why did you like her, why you didn't like her.
Yeah.
I'm going to attach a link to the article in the citations for the episode because I just thought it was a good one.
There, like, something specific in the article that just, like, really, like, struck you, like, one of her specific points maybe, or...
One of the points that she brought up was earlier, the quote I said being how it is not the only... Sera's sexuality is not the only thing that makes her notable as a person. Her sexuality is a relatively minor part of her personality. Like, she goes into talking, like, her, don't go into disliking her or liking her just because she might fit the LGBTQA representation you want or don't want. Like, you know, some people fucking don't give a shit about representation, and some people really do. Yeah. And so she tries to dive into Sera as a character who is a lesbian, but not just a lesbian. And I really liked it for that reason.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I like it when you find articles that kind of inspire you to challenge your own internalized biases. Because a lot of times, we've talked many times about how female characters can be kind of automatically and unfairly judged harsher than male characters are. Mm-hmm. And so it's nice to hear that there are sources and there are things out there of people who are starting that discussion to be like, oh, well, why did you feel this way about that? Yeah. Like, kind of question your reasons behind not liking a character and maybe not just being like, oh, well, they just sucked.
Yeah, or if you like them, try to think about why it is. Like, you can just like people to like them, that's fine, but there's normally a deeper reason to why you enjoy something. Mm-hmm. So, it was nice. Yeah.
And you don't have to do that all the time, but sometimes it's helpful for growing as a person and for even enjoying things more often, because once you figure out what you like or don't like about characters, you can search that out. So
exactly.
It's really cool.
Well, now that I've done talking about how she was received and also the general information, I would like to talk about why I like her, because I really like her. I really do. So I like Sera because although her sexuality is established, it's not the only thing that makes her noticeable, as the length of this entire thing has already talked about. Sexuality is a relatively minor part of her personality. Such a great quote, and I'm going to use it again. And I prefer LGBTQ plus characters where their focus is drawn to their characters' actions and abilities, their morals, their thoughts, rather than who they bed.
Yeah.
You know, definitely. Like, there has to be more than just who do you choose to fuck or not fuck.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I really like that because I didn't know she was a lesbian first starting out in the game. I avoided a lot of spoilers because it was like really well received. A lot of people were talking about it. And I knew that it had good representation in some characters in the game, but I didn't seek out who those characters were because I wanted to find out for my own. And I just, like, when I met her, I was like, she's so fun. I really like her. And then a heart thing showed up for an option, and I'm like, I was like, I can try to get her to like me.
To like me.
I was like, oh my god. So, like, that was a bonus, but I didn't try to get to know her just 'cause of it.
Yeah.
She's actually really funny, too. Sera consistently produces, in my opinion, the funniest moments of the game in a variety of different ways. Again, I told you she pranks people.
Yeah.
Her on-mission banter with other party members is so great. So whenever you're traveling and doing missions and you're outside of your, like, castle, depending on who's in your party, they can have one-on-one conversations with each other. It doesn't happen all the time, but it can. And I really like Sera's with I'll always switch everyone but Sera. Like, I'm constantly like, I gotta go through it, you know, play everybody, see who I want for specific missions or not. And I just always choose her because the banter's really good.
Yeah.
She often is revealing elaborate pranks she's played on Solus in some of the conversation. Again, like, she doesn't like mages. She gets comfortable with some mages, but she's afraid of magic, and you can't fault her for that. But she also has a distaste for a character named Cole. I don't think it's fair that she calls him it, but he's technically from the Fade, like, he's not an actual person. Okay. You can try to help him become a person or help him be comfortable in the fact that he's a spirit. Okay. But he's like pure magic. Yeah. So he really makes Sera uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But besides talking about, like, the pranks and, like, why she doesn't like Cole with other people, she also sometimes gets the names of the game's main villains wrong by adding, like, extra syllables or letters. She's me. Like, I can't. She's me with pronouncing names. But it's funny because, like, the way she does it leaves it unclear if she's doing it on purpose or not.
Okay.
Like, the main, like, she calls him, like, really weird things, and sometimes you're like, are you doing it to piss him off, or do you just not give a fuck and don't remember? Like,
are you just bad at names?
Yeah. So her banter's, like, really good, especially with the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're real fun. I'll dive into some of their bits together, but, like, it's really cool. And there's some, like, really serious characters in the game, and she kind of just, like, breaks through that because of just her personality. So sometimes she'll just say something, and the characters that are, like, you know, very, like, I'm holding everything in because we're in war times, and I need to be strong and here for you. They'll ask a question, and all of a sudden they're just like, oh, like, you know, like, it just breaks because they don't know how to manage her.
She's
not
disarming.
Even manage her. Yeah, she's so disarming, and I fucking love it. So Inquisition is a fucking big game.
Yeah.
It has, like, 3 DLCs.
Well, what did you say? 700 and...
I have 752.
Some buck.
Which means there's a lot of quests that you can go on. So there's main quests, side quests, and then, like, party member quests. And they have their own personal ones, which can add a lot of information to the characters and flesh them out. I always found Sera's to be so refreshing, though.
Yeah.
To quote Nicholas Scabetta. Now, I did genuinely try to look up this name, but I couldn't. This gentleman's only written a handful of articles.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Nicholas. I'm just going to call you Nicholas because I can't say your last name. I'm so sorry.
Nicholas S.
I'm really working on this. I truly am. But he has an article called 5 Reasons Sera is the Best Character in Dragon Age Inquisition.
Ooh.
One of his, it's a longer quote, but it's a good one.
I'm ready.
To talk about her refreshing personal side quests. She asks you to send soldiers to march through a specific town at a specific time. For mysterious reasons. She asks you to accompany her to meet a contact. And after you slaughter some mercenaries, you help her deal with the nobleman who hired them, and who is more than willing to negotiate with you as the Inquisitor. If you stop Sera from killing him, eventually you even get the chance to run around Skyhold with her setting up pranks. Sera's quests do exactly what good companion quests should do. Offer a break from the main story and a chance to do things that actually feel different from what you're doing with the rest of your time in the game.
Yeah.
She has a lot of quests like that.
Cool.
Which is, like, fun because it actually kind of, in a way, it's like genuinely feels like you're getting to know somebody and helping them, because some people's quests you can do without them, but most of Sera's quests are with her.
Okay.
So, like, it feels more of a bonding experience.
Yeah.
And I'm here for that. I'm here for bonding experience.
Yeah.
Another thing I like about her, she cares about, and I quote, because this is what she calls them, the little people, those who are less fortunate and in the most need. She often highlights the needs of the people who might otherwise be ignored and continues to push for this even as the Inquisition grows bigger and more powerful. In the game, you can lose or gain approval with your party members, depending on the choices you make. For Sera, her approval hinges on how much you, as the player, seem to care about the little people.
Aww.
She is the hero of the miscellaneous NPCs of the game and is there to remind you that even if a servant NPC didn't have a famous voice actor and had a token NPC generic face, they still matter.
Aww.
Isn't that nice? Nice?
This is totally somebody Fonda would romance in a game.
Oh my god, I just fucking love it.
She was like tailor-made to like make you feel things.
And I love feeling things, which is just so nice and refreshing, because some games will be like, you come across the miscellaneous NPCs, and at the time you're like, I don't think they're ever gonna matter, or I'm not gonna come across them, so why does my choice matter? Mm-hmm. But like, when you do things enough with Sera, you're like, holy fuck, no, like, they matter to her, and if I care, they need to matter to me.
Yeah.
And if this was a real world, I can't just look at people I don't think I'm going to see again and be like, you don't matter. You know what I mean? Like,
you are expendable.
Yeah, like, it actually makes you think in, like, a real world setting. Like, okay, this person might not be famous.
Yeah.
Or have a memorable face.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but, like,
yeah, puts a little bit more weight behind them.
Fucking great. The final thing that I want to talk about why I like her is that Sera is not like most people. Not elves, because she doesn't identify as an elf, even though she is one, but like people. She's not like much elves either, but she talks like a hyperactive, thoroughly modern teenager and anarchist. She's in your face this and in it that, and she likes sticking it to the man. And I freaking love it. Like, even if I don't need her in my party for specific missions or quests, she's always there. Just because I love how different she is. Yeah. So bringing back, like, the Iron Bull thing, the two of them often talk about everything from sexy, muscle-bound Qunari ladies to religion, but most of the time they talk about killing and fighting. A hobby they're both extremely passionate about. That's awesome. But it's just, like, it's so nice. Yeah. And I would like to end this off by, I'm going to play Alison the tavern song Sera Was Never.
Very fancy.
It keeps going, but it's like, I really like the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel like I could talk a lot about her, especially about the events and the choices in the game, but I don't want to, because I really want people to play it and get to know her through your own choices of the game. Because again, I've played twice completely with all 3 DLCs, and I'm doing a third one, and I'm not trying to romance Sera the third time. But I think she is just well written. Yeah. And it's okay to not like her, because I can understand inherently why some people find her annoying, just because she's very, like, abrasive and in your face, and some people don't like pranks, and some people don't like the fact that she calls Colin it. Like, I totally get it. Like, 100% those reasons are valid. But I think when a character is so well written and you dislike them for those specific things, ignoring the fact that they fit an LGBTQ plus quote-unquote agenda that some people think BioWare was trying to achieve, like, most people just dislike her because of her personality. Yeah. Which is okay!
Yeah, that just might not be a character type that some people enjoy.
Yeah. And, like, I think some people could get to like her if they choose to look into the other additional resources or, like, read some of the stuff that comes up in her personal quests. Like, you could at least get to understand why you don't like them more. And I don't know, I really like her.
And, well, like you said, like, if her character does very much so care about, like, the not as important...
The little people.
If you are not playing a character like that, because I know a lot of people play through these games and it's all like hack and slash and kill and murder. Yeah. And all of a sudden you have to meet this character who is very abrasive and very opinionated and counteracts that. It's like... It is counteracting the thing that you are playing the game to do for some people. And so, like, that can kind of rub you the wrong way. Like, in other dating sims and stuff, it's like sometimes I fall into it when I'm playing, like, a dating sim, and it gives you, like, the sad faces when you piss somebody off or something. And I'm just like, no, don't hate me! And it's like...
But at the same time, like, they are upset at your choices just as much as you might be upset at theirs.
Exactly.
And you can't fault people for not liking decisions you make.
Yeah, and so it's really... Because I remember I had started playing the first one, and in my, like, party at the very beginning, I had, like, a chick paladin who was, like, very good, but then I had this, like, sexy, like, woods witch, too, but, like, they were two very polarizing opposite characters.
Morgan?
Something like that. And so they were both on my team, and so, like, every choice I made, I had to piss off one of them.
And you're like, no! Isn't there a neutral?
And I was like, well, this isn't helpful.
No.
Like, I feel bad now.
But regardless, for people that want to see Sera happy, if you don't woo her or choose to, she gets together with a dwarf female at the end, which is fucking great.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, so it's good. There's, like, everybody gets love in the game.
Yeah.
In some capacity, whether it's, like, with another person or love with a community of people that accept you, like... I don't know, the game's nice. Alison and other people, listeners, you should play the game. And if you haven't played the game, like, maybe see if a friend can lend it to you. Or if you have played the game, play it again.
Play it one more time and then play it again after.
It's good.
Yeah. Just watch, you're gonna, like, try and play it again next time. You're just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna romance her again.
I know. Just watch. I'm like, Alison, I fucked up. I was gonna try to romance Solus, the male elf, but no, I fucked up.
I played through that Dream Daddy game that was super popular on Tumblr.
I love Dream Daddy.
Like, a long time. And I'm just like, oop, I'm romancing the goth guy again. He's just so cute with his little butterflies.
Oh.
It's just like every time I fucking play through, I'm just
I know, there's always one when you're like, damn it. Like, I play a dating sim, which is so fucking fun. I don't know if you played it. We've had to play it. It's called Monster Prom. Oh. It's, like, not for kids.
Okay.
Like, there's a ghost who loves cocaine and sex and drugs.
This sounds like a dating sim I need to play.
It's so good. And there's a hipster vampire, and there's a demon prince who has two dads, but he really wants to get into, like, doing makeup for people, but he loves setting things on fire. And there's, like, my favorite is the werewolf. His name is Scott, and he's just such a good boy. Like, everything you do for him, like, he's probably one of the easier ones to romance, just because he's... Like, his character personality is, like, you just be a nice person and be his friend, and he likes working out and going to the gym and howling at the moon, and it's just, like, Great. And then, like, there's a Gorgon who is merciless with business and will cut your throat if you fuck up her business plan.
This is amazing. I need to play that game.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been obsessed with Love Island, the game, which is just like, it's like, if you've never heard of the Love Island television show, it's a bunch of obscenely sexy people in bathing suits all day who have to, like, date each other.
I will send it to you. It's such a good game.
Yes. But yeah, like, the whole thing of, like, falling back into the same romance, I do that in, like, the second season of the game all the time, because there's one character who's named Bobby, and he's a baker, and he's, like, the sweetest boy. And every time I play it, I'm just like, no, like, don't fucking date Bobby again.
You're like, do something different.
But every time I'm like, but he's right over there being so sweet.
I know, it's so damn hard.
It's so funny. But I do love that there's, like, in, like, a big hack and slash, like, fantasy game that they're just like, oh, love.
They're like, love is there. It's important to have love.
And connections.
Yeah, that's why I like Sera. Alison,
that's so cool.
Before we end off the show, what are you excited about right now?
So, to kind of just, like, ride this video game train, I mentioned it earlier, but my husband and I have been playing through Borderlands. So we played through the first one, and then we played through Borderlands 2. And we're currently on our second playthrough of Borderlands 2, and we've already played through the first one twice. Because it's really fun, and we always pick different characters in the first one, but, like, always as a kid, whenever I would, like, play video games or do any of these things, and then as I started, like, playing more, like, adult, actual, like, long-form video games, I get this, like, weird idea that when you're co-op playing with somebody, there has to be more to the relationship between your two characters than is in the show, and so I'm just, like, I told Nick about it the first time we played through Borderlands 1, and we played the soldier, whose name is Roland, and the main siren character, whose name is Lilith, and I'm like, well, they're clearly dating. It's like, obviously they're gonna get married, and then in the next one you find out that they were totally fucking, and I'm just like, oh!
You're like, hell
score
yeah!
1 for me! But then I laugh, because then the next time we played through it, it's like you play like the sniper guy and like this big rough like melee character, and I was like, well, they're still totally dating. And Nick laughs at me all the time because he's just like, oh, I gotta go save my big buff husband.
I gotta go save.
And so it's really fun. We have such a great time together, and we are playing through the other one. We bought all the DLC for the second one because it's a little bit more, provides you with more for the game. And it's just been fun getting to hang out with my partner on the couch and just forget the world, play video games, make jokes about characters that totally aren't fucking, and say that they are. Just my own little weird headcanons, and
you know, that's okay. Like, you
so
have to enjoy the things you do, and sometimes headcanons really make people enjoy content more.
Exactly. I couldn't do that for our first run through of like Borderlands 2 though, because I played like one of the DLC characters who is what's known as a necromancer. So she's like 18 and she has this like giant robot that she makes and go kill, that she can summon, and he like goes and kills stuff for her. His name is Deathtrap, and he's the sweetest baby. And I just automatically assumed that that is my dog Dutch and I have to take care of my baby. I put a lot of feelings
I get that. No,
on
100%.
other characters.
100%. I think anyone that's into any kind of fandom.
Yeah, I'm just like, you are now my dog.
You are now this.
Yes, but my husband was playing, again, the soldier character, but the soldier character's in, like, his 40s, and I'm just like, no, you're my weird adopted dad now.
The adopted family trope.
Yeah. I was like, because, no.
Yeah, you're like, no thanks. Nope.
That's a little inappropriate.
100%. I'm sorry, but fuck yeah, that is.
Yeah, I'm just like, here's my teenager who, I have to talk about these fucking Borderlands characters you can play, because, like, just a quick little recap of the Necromancer. Her robot was, like, protecting her at a science fair and, like, murdered the shit out of one of her, like, schoolmates. And so now she's on the run.
Oh no. Poor girl.
It's amazing. Apparently she was a bitch, so it's fine.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, that's what I'm excited about. More video games, all the stuff.
Woo.
Because now we have time to do it. And so
We have a lot of time.
so much time. So yeah, that's me and Fonda being excited about video games. Video games.
Vid games.
Vid games.
Video games.
You can find us wherever podcasts can be found. Please make sure to rate and subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram at Wench Bench Pod. And if you want to reach out, you can send us an email at wenchbenchpod@gmail.com. All of the art for the Wench Bench was designed by the wonderful Tessa Joyce Riecken. You can find her on Twitter at Werevile. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
But I did do some research with my husband because he's played. We have a barking dog.
We do.
He's upset because I haven't played all the games.
Yes.
That's what he's upset about.
It also could do with the fact that there's a dog outside also going crazy. So we got lots of barking dogs today.
That's fine. It's okay. Just saying.
I was trying to hold that in. I took a sip of coffee.